What's happening, YouTube? You're in the building with one single member of the Avengers of Life Games and Current Cultures, the Black Avengers, that is. That's me, Lamont Tyson. I'm sure Larry will roll up in here on CPT time at some point in time, even though he professes to be Mr. Proper. Mr. I'm from the burbs in California. He always seems to get in this thing late, but it's all good. You know, we are going to roll the show until he gets here and make things happen. I hope everyone is doing well today. I hope it's been a good Wednesday. With so much chaotic news in the world, a tumultuous election we're getting ready to go through, lies left and right. I know a lot of this can throw you guys under pressure, but I'm just happy that you've been able to give me and Larry a platform to try to give you guys some information, to try to entertain you guys, and to furthermore push some of your life gains so that you can make those gains long term. Let me shout out everybody that's tuning in already. Support Gaming, my family. Andrew Roca, first time I seen you. Like I told y'all, it never fails. CPT time is in the building.
Man, I'll tell you, boy, technical issues are a trip.
Hey, man.
I was up here cursing my computer out like it was my worst enemy.
Larry, you sound like the Trump administration because they swear up and down technical issues is always the thing with them. So are you telling me you down with that 4 square peg?
Nah, what I'm telling you I'm down with is the fact that I couldn't get any audio.
Oh, okay. Well, all I'm doing is shouting out everybody. Trisha C, Buzz, Miss Colleen B has made a return to the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't seen Colleen B on the live stream since last year when Power was out. But not to fully rag on her, she does follow me on Facebook and Instagram, so that's my homegirl. She know I got to pick on her. Olympia Horton, everybody who's in the sound of my voice, follow me and Larry on Instagram, especially those of you that are curious to know what's going on with the growth of my baby. She's always up there because she don't let her daddy sleep. Now,
that's her job.
Man, geez, man.
That's her job, is to make sure you stay awake, that you're sleep deprived.
Yeah. So, Brother Larry, I've got a pretty packed show for you tonight that I got to get in before it's time for me to go handle my shift with my daughter. So let me start out by telling you what's going on. We've got some news about Power Tommy's show. It's going to get moved up, believe it or not. So we've got some news on that.
Finally, something that's not getting pushed back.
And I have an idea of why they're moving it up, and we'll discuss it. We've got some news about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion show. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to be doing a 30th anniversary reunion show.
Are they going to bring both Vivs in?
They might. Then after that, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a new fresh clip of The Boys that starts Friday. Can't wait for that show. And then after that, it starts to get a little dark and gloomy and murky on this channel. I'm talking about the swamps of Mississippi. We're going to talk about y'all's president. Instead of going and uplifting the town of Kenosha, he goes down there and acts like a pure a-hole. But what more do you expect? And then we're going to end this show on a good note. Stocks, making you money. If you guys like the returns you got on the stock splits of Tesla and Apple riding up to the split, there's another stock I'm going to introduce you guys to that's going to split on the 17th of September. Always a good opportunity to make some money on the run up to the split and possibly afterwards. So now, Larry, without further ado, let's talk about my man Tommy and what he's going to be doing in the show. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that super chat me, I've got some brand new, fresh, old school videos to show you guys when you send me a super chat or when you send me a cash app. But for now, let's take a look at why we love and also hate that man known as Tommy.
Yo, what's up? We're canceling Christmas. Shut it all down now.
So y'all know
Cancel
that
Christmas.
man is famous for canceling Christmas. So this is what's going on with the show. For those of you that didn't know, Starz has ordered Power. It was going to be number 5, but they're moving it to number 4. Tommy's show Force. And they've ordered 10 episodes to air in 2020. Joseph Sikora, the actor that plays Tommy, said he's overjoyed. He's thrilled. But the thing that a lot of us want to know is, why did they decide to go ahead and move that one up first? Do you guys think it's possibly because of all the backlash that they have been getting because Ghost is dead, and they're a little worried about Michael Rainey's show? Then they're going to do the Young Kanan and all the Young Brothers show, which might have preempted them to moving this one up. I think they also want to try to capture and keep people hyped because they know that people had a fond affair with Tommy just as much as they did with Ghost. And we're curious to see how his dynamic is going to play out, leaving New York, going to California. Larry, are you excited to hear that Power Force is going to go from number 5 to number 4?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I've been looking forward to Tommy's joint more than I've been looking forward to Tariq's. Although I will say, having watched some of these trailers for the show with Tariq coming up, I'm kind of hyped about it. It looks like it's going to be good. I'm not the biggest fan of Tariq.
Wait a minute. Let's put some churching in it. Last week on this very show, when I was telling you this, you was all in my grill talking, hell no, I ain't watching. I'm tired of them portraying black men as this and black men as that. And I said, why not? I said to you,
No,
Larry,
I was talking about The Chi for that one. I was saying, I don't think I'm going to watch The Chi anymore. I think I'm done with that. But Power,
I'm going to have to go back and check the tape because I could have sworn you didn't want to see Tariq be a bad guy when I told you they could write it where he starts out a bad guy and winds up getting in business. But I'll go back. I'll let you finish.
I might have said something to that effect. I'm not gonna say you're wrong if that's what you remember, because it sounds like something I might have said.
Yeah.
So
you just mad Ramona ain't gonna be in the show. That's your problem.
She might be. We don't know what Ramona's gonna do. Damn, I got a fly in the house. Man.
Yeah, man, because you were telling a story. That fly's attacking you.
Did I get it? Ha ha! Punk bitch, you're dead. All right, I'll be right back. I gotta go dispose of this fly.
Okay. So while Larry is handling the fly that goes only into people's house who tell stories, let's finish talking about Tommy. For me too, ladies and gentlemen, this was my most anticipated story because Tommy is so chaotic. He's so diabolical. He's a wild card. It wouldn't have mattered if you would have sent him to the Ozark.
This is how I clean up insects in my house.
What the hell?
So,
my man
up. He's gone.
Got one of them housewife vacuum. What the fuck? Oh, my Lord, have mercy. See, that's why you don't get rid of a brother like that. With a pink vacuum, he's sucking up more than dust, ladies and gentlemen. But back to Tommy. You could have took Tommy, you could have put his ass in Aden, North Carolina, and everybody would still want to watch the show because you know where Tommy goes, drama goes too. And so now it's just a simple matter of who are they going to put as a supporting cast around Tommy? My best guess is they've got to give him 2-Bit because 2-Bit was a rising star on the show, a fan favorite. They've got to give him. And with some of the cartels that are going to be around the California area, it's easy to see how this story is probably going to be as big of a hit as it was for the regular Power show. But Tommy's going to have to find him a new running mate. He's going to have to find a homeboy. And will they make that homeboy 2-Bit, or will they have him meet somebody he can trust and love in California? Larry, finish speaking on Tommy. Force, Power, number 4.
Man, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Tommy. I think what we're gonna see is that Ramona's gonna probably take a client out on the West Coast that's running maybe for like the mayor of Los Angeles or the governor or something like that. She's gonna take a political job out there, run into Tommy, and they're going to end up commiserating over Ghost and whatnot. And the next thing you know, boom, bam, bing, they're all up in it. Ramona's going to be his number one chick on the side running stuff. She's going to have all the political connects that's going to work out with him. Tommy's going to have the street connect, and they're going to create a super powerhouse that's going to go in there. They're not going to be together like that. I don't think they're going to be together, but I think they're going to hook up and create like a crazy super mastermind political drug organization that's going to take over the entire West Coast.
You think Tommy's organization in conjunction with Ramona is going to do that?
Yep, because Ramona's got all the political connects. So every time somebody gets ready to try and do something, they're going to call in a favor. Someone else, some cartel dude's going to get arrested, or whenever Tommy gets ready to get looked at, they're going to get steered the opposite direction. Tommy's going to be golden.
See, ladies and gentlemen, I've been able to get him over the Killmonger conspiracy. But for whatever the reason, I can't get him off Ramona's forehead. For whatever the reason. Oh, man, my big homie, Buzz, has sent us a super chat. So that means he gets an old school video clip. It's just a matter of which one do we want to give him. And because I know how Buzz gets down, I'll give him this one. This is for you, Big Buzz. Friend of the show, contributor to the show, always super chatting.
Am I the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Sure enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town?
Sure enough.
Well, who am I?
Sure enough.
Who am I?
Sure enough.
I can't hear you.
Sure enough.
Shogun of Harlem.
That's right. Buzz is my shogun. I appreciate you, homie. For a minute there, my man, we're about to start looking like Cat Williams. But
did you see that? Did you see that that photo when Dion Cole dressed up as showed up for Halloween?
Man. I saw it, man. I was like, damn, that's his brother, man.
I thought it was him. I thought that was showed up. Shogun of Harlem.
Oh my goodness. So Larry, let's finish up on the Tommy thing. So this is your most anticipated show. You really want to see it. What direction do you hope they go in Tommy's show? Because Tommy is very chaotic. I mean, he's a complex character. Where do you really want to see them go? And don't say Ramona's name again.
I mean, besides Ramona, you know I had to do it, man. But, you know, what I would really like to see is because they're going to be on the West Coast, I hope they bring more of our Hispanic brothers and sisters in on this. And because it isn't, and, you know, I don't know if they're going to be based in LA or the Bay Area or San Diego, wherever, but I mean, all throughout California, there's a gang of Mexican folks out there and a gang of people from South America, Central America. So I'm hoping they bring more of our Hispanic folks in there, along with the Black folks in there. So that the show can get a broader audience, and you know, maybe even be a bigger hit than it was with Power. So because Power had a lot of focus on Black folks and white folks, and they brought in some cartel people, but they were sort of a side story in effect. I hope that they can integrate them more as main characters. So,
Angela, she's Hispanic. She wasn't a side story.
Angela was Black.
Angela was not Black.
Angela was Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, yeah. Okay.
Puerto Ricans are Black.
Okay, so anyone who's a minority, they're Black, is what you're saying.
Nah, but Puerto Ricans are Black. Dominicans Black.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Black.
I'm fine with that, but some Hispanics want to be considered Black too. You cool with that?
Well, I mean, they. I mean, it depends on where they are. I mean, if you're from, if you're from Argentina, nah, you're not Black.
Okay.
But if you're Puerto Rican, you're Black.
Argentina is South American. Argentina is South America.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But they speak Spanish. They consider themselves Hispanic. So.
Puerto Ricans speak Spanish.
I know, but Puerto Ricans are also from African descent. Puerto Ricans are Black. That's why Puerto Ricans can use the N-word.
Oh, okay. See, ladies and gentlemen, boy, it's never a dull moment on this show. Having said all that, gobbledygook, we're excited for Power. And we wish this was the next one. Hell, they could have pushed Tariq back and move this one up if you want my personal opinion. But I digress.
Yeah.
I digress. You know,
But I kind of hope that we get to see an appearance or two of Tommy in his show. I'm hoping maybe
Right.
Tariq finds himself in some need of assistance, whether it's getting himself out of trouble or needs some advice. Somehow I'm hoping we get to see a Tommy appearance.
yeah, that would do it justice. So we'll move on, ladies and gentlemen. If you're finding me and Larry for the first time, please subscribe to this channel, subscribe to his. We got our man Futuristic Mike in the comment section. Subscribe to his channel too, ladies and gentlemen. He does a good job of his reviews. Now we're going to talk a little bit about.
Hold on, let me bring my mic down right quick so I can just say
go ahead.
bzzz, 703.
All up in the building. All up in the building. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a reunion from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the original cast. And everybody's going to be here except for Mr. Avery, who is dead, and Miss Herbert, whose face is X'd out because they're going to replace her with this lady right here, Daphne Maxwell Reid. And the only beef I got about that is when you think of that show, it's very hard to think of Daphne Maxwell Reid. Now, let me give you the backdrop. The reunion is supposed to happen around Thanksgiving this year to celebrate 30 years of the 30-year anniversary of the show. Now, for those of you that don't know, the original Aunt Vibe had a fallout. She started wigging out, and she some people want to say she went crazy, and some people say she has valid arguments because she fell out with Will Smith. Take a little bit of a look at what some of the craziness she had to say, then we'll finish discussing the reunion and should they have invited her or left her out.
I want to say something about Jada Pinkett Smith asking other actors, black actors and actresses, to boycott the Oscars. First of all, Miss Thing, does your man not have a mouth of his own with which to speak? And the second thing is, girlfriend, there's a lot of shit going on in the world that you all don't seem to recognize. People are dying. Our boys are being shot left and right. People are hungry. People are starving. People are trying to pay bills. And you talking about some motherfucking actors in Oscars. And it just ain't that deep. And here's the other thing. For you to ask other actors and other black actresses and black actors to jeopardize their career, and they're standing in a town that you know damn well you don't do that. And here's the other thing, they don't care. They don't care. And I find it ironic that somebody who has made their living and made millions and millions of dollars from the very people that you're talking about boycotting, just because you didn't get a nomination, just because you didn't win, that is not the way life works, baby. Okay? And it's very suspect to me. And I seem to recall, 20, maybe 6, 7 years ago, 25, whatever it was. Look, I don't even remember, but I seem to remember at option time coming to you and saying, you know what, Will, you're the star of the show. Why don't we all get together? And with you, maybe we could get a little raise. Maybe the network, since you know the show is such a hit, and you being the star of the show, your influence would help us greatly, like they did on Friends, like white shows do. Remember that? Do you remember that? Because I do. And your response to me was, my deal is my deal, and y'all's deal is y'all's deal. Well, karma must be a bitch, because now here you are. Here you are. You've had a few flops. And you know, there are those out there who really deserved a nod, and Idris Elba was one of them. Lord have mercy. Beast of No Nation was incredible. That man is an incredible actor. You are not. Maybe you didn't deserve a nomination.
But ladies and gentlemen, she to this day still holds Will Smith responsible for her getting kicked off. And you can go back and read the history. It could go either way, because Will Smith did have a lot of sway with the network, because he did take that show to being the #1 show on the network for a long time. And when they just got rid of her, some of us never got fully invested in the new Antville. Trisha C was just in the comments talking about that dance scene that was probably one of the most iconic scenes in the show. She put the damn dance on them white chicks, then she snapped that finger on them. And from that point, since they separated, Aunt Vive, Mrs. Herbert, has put out all these videos that have just been very inflammatory, sour grapes, and you're talking 25 years later. And y'all know when a black person is upset and they gets to going in they arguments, boy, they hot. You digging into their soul. And so she's never let that go. Will Smith is in a greater power position, so it's easy for him to blow it off. But in the reunion, she's not invited. Everybody else is coming. My first TV crush, Tatiana Ali, is going to be there. Larry, should they had invited the original Aunt Vive, let bygones be bygones, or is it too far gone? And are you going to watch the reunion special that is going to be on HBO Max?
I don't know. I'll probably watch it. I don't know. If I see it, I'll see it. It's not like it's going to be on my list of must-watch things, but they should have invited her. I mean, the reality of it is when they made that switch, when they took the old Aunt Viv out and put the new one in there, they made a joke. It was like, oh, you look different or something. It was sort of like they were poking fun at themselves for making such an abrupt switch, because they went from an Aunt Viv that was very thin and dark skinned to another Aunt Viv that was she wasn't as thin. She was a little bit thicker, not fat, just a little bit thicker, and she was very fair skinned. And so I kind of feel like when they made such an abrupt change and then they made a joke poking them, poking at themselves over it, I feel like you should bring back the old Aunt Viv and do the same thing. Poke another joke. Just like maybe you start off with the original or with the replaced Aunt Viv, and then like halfway through the episode, you switch them out. And people who watch the show that are fans of the show will know what's going on and find it hilarious.
Yeah, and the thing is, Larry, the new Aunt Viv never on that show. I didn't watch much of her other shows, but the new Aunt Viv, Daphne Maxwell Reid, she didn't fit the role as well as the original Aunt Viv. Most of us, when we think of Fresh Prince, we don't think of her. We think of the show being good with the original Aunt Vi, who was a multi-talented actress, dancer, singer, and we associate her in that role. And I think that she did a better job in that role than Daphne Maxwell Reid did. So I'm with you. If you're going to have a reunion show,
you know what would be hilarious is if they did something where they're on the show. Maybe Aunt Viv is going out to the car or going out to shop or something, and then when she comes back, it's the old Aunt Viv, and she's like, "Hey, I'm back," and everyone starts clapping and whatever else, and it's just sort of a goof, because it's like she's gone, and then she walks to the door and says, "Hey, I'm back," and everybody's like, "Aunt Viv is back," I mean, they could even have fun with Will Smith, because people know there's some tension there. There could even be some fun joke with it where he's like, "But she just left. Who cares?" While everybody else is excited that she's back. So
I mean, you could go 5 different directions to make that a very good setup, Larry. You could poke fun at it. You can enjoy the moments. I think Will Smith should be swallowing his pride right now and at least trying to communicate with her to just say, "Hey, let's put the tensions away. You come on up here. Maybe we clear the air a little bit without getting into too many details, and we just enjoy something that was an iconic history-making show that introduced more Black culture to the world." That was a groundbreaking show. And I just think that in the times we're living in right now, make bygones be bygones, bring her back, kumbaya. And
that show was groundbreaking in a lot of ways.
It was very groundbreaking.
Because one of the things that it did was there was a lot of people that grew up with there's a lot of Black people that grew up without a lot of money. And they always looked at, they always thought, "Oh, if I just make money and I get rich, everything will be fine." Right. And I think what it showed a lot of people who didn't know, I'm not going to claim to be one of those people. I was quite fortunate that my parents were both highly educated and made a significant amount of money. So I grew up in a nice place, but
I didn't.
Huh?
I didn't.
Well, I knew that with a lot of the things they were experiencing, and I thought that it was very cool. They were showing like, yes, you can grow up and you can become a lawyer or a business person or whatever, and go and live in Beverly Hills and go to a private school, but you still have to deal with all this racism. And I thought it was interesting how by Will coming in there and having his cousin there, that he was actually pointing out some things to his cousin that he didn't realize. I mean, there's things that I forgot his character's name, Alfonso Rivera's character's name now. Carlton.
Carlton. How can you
I
not
know.
remember
I thought
that
of the dance,
iconic dance?
and then I thought of it.
What the hell? Man, you want no Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I would expect you, with your background, to for sure be into the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
So, I was thinking, I was like, there were times I remember watching that show where Will was pointing things out that were racist to, to Carlton, and Carlton just didn't see it that way at first. And then later he realized that Will was right. And I thought that was great, because there's a lot of people that grew up thinking, oh, if I just make a lot of money, I don't have to deal with this stuff anymore. And that's just simply not America. I mean, as long as you're black, as long as you're a person of color in America, you're dealing with that stuff until we can get rid of this racist infrastructure that we have. But I mean, that's a whole other subject. But I just thought that the show was really important in that way.
Yeah, but not just that. We can sit here and go on and on and on about some of the groundbreaking moments. But for me, they definitely need to try to reconcile as best as possible with the original Aunt Viv. And hopefully we can have a really, really good reunion show with James Avery looking down old Uncle Phil to really smile and say, hey, we done something good. And while we're talking about it, ladies and gentlemen, Jada Pinkett Smith in production with Will Smith's production house is going to be rebooting The Fresh Prince. Now, I know that tensions with Jada and the original Aunt Vi are worse than what they are with Will. So having said that, she might not be there, but that's who's doing the reboot. I don't see how you reboot the show, but hell, I've been wrong before.
Right.
So
yeah, someone said Chris P says versus with old Aunt Viv versus new Aunt Viv.
I like that. We could get a versus battle right there on stage in the reunion. Old Aunt Viv versus new Aunt Viv. Now I wonder, are they going to have Baby Nikki come up there? I didn't see anything about Baby Nikki. Everybody else I've saw, but I didn't see anything about Baby Nikki. So maybe he'll come. One of my favorite episodes, ladies and gentlemen, that they ingratiated me to was when they introduced Boys II Men singing Let It Snow when Will was trying to have something extra for Nikki's christening. That was when I first got introduced to Boys II Men. They've been my favorite R&B group forever since then. So thank you, Will Smith. You turned me on to a little bit of culture.
Yeah, brothers from Philly.
Hey, man. That's what it is. Go ahead.
Someone said Hillary with Jazz. Now, that would be a good storyline to have those two either have come back and they're hooked up and married, or to come back and all of a sudden now Jazz is something that Hillary's interested in and they end up hooking up. That would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah. And somebody in the comments section said, red table time. Man, that red table liable to get red with some fluid if you get her sitting across from Jada Pinkett Smith, man. Because I mean, that video I just showed you guys is about 4 or 5 years old, and it hasn't been much tension, much ground made since then. So we'll just have to see. But
it's funny when that video that they showed, I feel her on that where they talk about, she's up there talking about you don't ask people to boycott something because you didn't get nominated. That's bogus. I think what happens is that there's a time that you may start to ask people to boycott when you go through a whole Oscar season and there's no black people nominated. If that happens one season, then you're like, okay, this is bogus. We've had some really great films made where black people were the leads, or they were supporting. They should have at the very least have been nominated. When you go through a season or 2 or 3 like that, the first season, no. Second season, you might start saying, okay, you know what? This is bogus. Let's look at the competition that's out there. Are those movies so good that maybe these ones that we were in just couldn't get lifted up? But by the third season in a row where you start to see, oh, this is crazy. We're making great movies and people should have been nominated and it's just not happening. That's when you start talking about boycotting, not because you didn't get nominated or because your husband didn't get nominated. I mean, that's just craziness. And right now, the way we're seeing things, we're going to see more and more people get nominated for particular roles, whether it be people that are Black or Asian or Hispanic or or Pakistani or Indian or whatever, because they've changed the Academy. They have expanded it out, so there's more voting members now, and a lot of the people that were former voting members, some people have just been replaced, and other people have been replaced either because they just are no longer members, or and they brought in new people, or they've added new members in. But basically what I'm saying is the overall ethnic makeup of the Academy looks different now. So there's a lot more voting members that are from different various backgrounds. And that's why I think we have seen over the last several years, a lot of films that where people are being nominated from various backgrounds. I think we're going to continue to see that moving forward. And I'm excited for it because that's the way it should be. You shouldn't have to have only white people up there getting nominated for films. They are not the only ones that are making great art when it comes to movies. And so we'll see.
We'll see. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, Will Smith, fix it. Let's get both Aunt Vi's up there and make this thing happen. Moving right along, ladies and gentlemen, if you're finding me and Larry for the first time, knock on wood and subscribe to my channel, subscribe to his. Check out my
us for the first time. Where you been? Where have you been?
They've been asleep at the wheel. They've been asleep they don't even see us coming. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a great show coming back on that me and Larry are going to review this Friday. It's called The Boys. I've got an exclusive clip. Let's take a look at it because this shit is going to be right. Boy, that new chick.
Man, I'm ready for it to keep on rolling. I just want to watch it.
Let me tell y'all something. That new chick that they got is just as powerful, if not more, than Homelander, their version of Superman. And I like where they're going with that particular storyline. And it seems like they're making Homeboy that controlled the ocean softer and softer. I mean, poor fella. It was his fault the damn whale got killed anyway. It was his damn fault. But I really like where they're taking this show. I could easily see them running this show at least 5 to 6 more seasons. But Larry, how excited are you to see the whole entire story play out?
Yeah, man, I'm geeked up. I mean, it's tomorrow night. We can start watching tomorrow night. That's the great thing because it's on Amazon Prime, and I believe at midnight Pacific time it'll be on. So it'll be a late watch, but I'll be up. I will be up.
Hey, get your hands ready. Futuristic Mike said he watched season 1. My brother, how much did you enjoy it?
Yeah, man, I'm curious what people think about it because I watched that show and I wasn't really certain about it when I first saw it. I was like, all right, I know this is a graphic novel and a comic book, so I was like, maybe it's gonna be good. And I'll say probably in the first 5 minutes, I was like, oh, I'm totally hooked. I was one of those shows when you watch it, you're about to binge the whole doggone season. You have to if you sat down thinking I'm just gonna watch one episode and I'll do something, you end up having to readjust your whole schedule for the day.
Yeah, forget it. And I struggled last year trying to figure out how to do reviews when you can watch the whole thing. It was like, do I review each episode? Because there was something with every episode that you could possibly review, or do I do the whole season to try to summarize it? But there were so many things within each episode I really wanted to talk about. So I'm kind of wrestling with how me and Larry are going to do a review on them. We might just start with, maybe summarizing 2 episodes at a time because the show is really good. It's really, really good.
I mean, we can always bounce back and forth. We can do it however we want to do it. It's your show. We can go any way we want. You
Hey
know,
man, it's not my show. It's the fans' show. It's the people that watch us show. The people
you
that
go.
come to my channel, then they go to your channel. They go check out the black people we support, Pair Weight, Just My Reviews, E-Man, and the people we bring up here. It belongs to them. They're the ones that keep us going. So, ladies and gentlemen, check that out if you have Amazon Prime. It's absolutely free to you to watch it this Friday.
Right.
Now we've got to talk about a somber subject, lady. Go ahead.
Before we go to that, can we test and see what is Soylent Green? I don't know what that is. So she asked, have you seen Soylent Green? I don't know what that is. So I guess I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, you're gonna have to check that out. Now, see, her and Muchella, they are our resident finders. They find things, they turn us on to it, and we love it. That's what we do.
It's a 1973 film.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna check it out. Thanks for the recommendation.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we move on to the section that we specifically keep for Trisha C, the political section. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
the T-Stream section.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Look, man, I don't pick on her about T-Streams no more because she has stuck with us through thick and thin, whether he's here
She
or
really
not.
has. She has been down for the cause.
She has, and we appreciate you. That's why we got to pick on you a little bit. But, ladies and gentlemen, this guy that we have in White House, me and Larry have said it a numerous amount of times. He is actually a terrorist against America.
Yeah.
He, against the local people, went to Kenosha to do what? Absolutely nothing. Take a look at the hysteria surrounding y'all's president going to Kenosha to do absolutely nothing.
From Kenosha. From Kenosha to Portland, tonight mounting tension as President Trump prepares to visit Wisconsin following the police shooting of Jacob Blake.
We need him here. We need strong leadership.
A president visiting town obviously takes a lot of resources that could be put someplace else.
In a letter to the president, Wisconsin's governor writes in part, "I am concerned your presence will only hinder our healing."
I think that Kenosha at this present time needs peace.
Today, the White House said it reached out to Blake's family, but their attorney said so far he'd not been contacted.
No justice, no peace.
Over the weekend, peaceful protests here, even as the union representing Kenosha police took a stronger stance defending the officers involved. The union says the officers responded to a complaint that Blake was trying to steal the caller's keys and vehicle. They add Blake had a knife and was non-compliant when officers issued verbal commands, and that he put one of the officers in a headlock.
The police union is a union that supports our police officers, in my opinion, no matter how unbelievable the excessive use of force, the brutal use of force used against black people in America.
Across the country, Blake's shooting has inflamed racial tensions that have been simmering all summer. Over the weekend, clashes from Washington, D.C. and Tallahassee, Florida, to Portland, where a man was shot and killed amid the unrest, although it's unknown if they were connected. Hours before, a caravan of the president's supporters faced off against counter-protesters in the city. The founder of the far-right group Patriot Player told NBC's Aaron McLaughlin the victim was a friend and did not provoke his attackers.
The way that media's portraying it is that it had something to do with the Trump crews, but it didn't. He got attacked. So I don't know what else we could have done differently.
And Gabe joins us now. Gabe, what, if any, role did the White House have in sending National Guard troops to Kenosha to keep the peace?
Well, Kristen, despite the president's tweets, local officials here say that the increased presence of the National Guard was a state request and would not have been initiated by the White House.
You know,
yeah, you go.
The
go
thing
first.
that gets me. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
No,
go ahead.
I'll let you go first. You definitely ain't going to say what I'm about to say, so you go ahead.
The thing that gets me is that we see all this violence. We've seen the gentleman, Jacob Blake get shot by the cops, and then we saw Kenosha started to get. We saw them burn down. I believe they burned down a police department down there. Then we saw that racist dude go and murder 2 white people with some white on white crime, and then we see the other dude, the other Trump supporter. He got killed, but I don't know who killed him. It was probably another white on white event there, and then. In the midst of all that, you have Donald Trump up there saying this is what a Joe Biden America is going to look like. Well, this is the crazy thing. This is what Trump America looks like right now. He's up there talking about Joe Biden's America is going to look like this. This is what America is right now under Trump. I mean, he's up there trying to scare his people, trying to say this is what Joe Biden's America is going to look like. They don't need to be scared about what Joe Biden's America is going to look like. Because this is what Trump's America looks like. This is what America looks like under Trump. And this is crazy. It's gotten worse and worse and worse. And I can tell you right now, the way that Trump supporters are, as much as they feel entitled to go out there and carry their guns and shoot and kill people, it's only going to get worse if he's reelected. Not only that, Trump is going to be completely unrestrained. And it's going to be ugly. It's going to be violent. And this country is going to become a very, very dangerous place to live.
Yeah. And not only are they going to get ugly, ladies and gentlemen, if he's reelected, when his ass loses this election, it's going to get ugly then, too. I read an article by a black columnist who writes great articles that said, my black people, strap up. Because he's already inciting people like that 17-year-old that went cross-border with an illegal gun. He's inciting people to behave like that. You've seen that convoy of Trump fuckers riding big-ass trucks with big-ass flags, and they love waving that black and white flag that doesn't show they love America, skulls and shit on their shirt. He's already inciting them to the edge. And going to Kenosha, he did nothing but incite more hatred, more violence, more fear. He has not even said Jacob Blake's name. Yeah. He goes and does a fucking interview with Laura Ingraham and compares the cop shooting Jacob Blake 7 times as to someone basically having a bad day at the golf course. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let that sink in. And Laura Ingraham, who loves Trump, she's a Trump toady, all day, tried to correct him several times, and Trump wouldn't even take that. He lets you know how he feels. So regular America, that's how Trump feels about you. So it is important you get your asses out there and vote. And I'll take it a step further. I want you to be sure that if you're going to vote by a mail-in ballot, take it to your polling place or vote early. Because there's another article out there right now, I think it's Red whatever it is, talking about there could be some leeway that Trump is going to get all these votes because his people are going to go vote in person. Whereas the smarter people who don't want to be in the virus and get sick are going to vote by mail. And what's going to happen is it takes that mail longer to get in than they can tally up the in-person voting. And what they're saying is some Republican-ran states can just declare that the thing is over with when Trump declares victory. Now, that's technically illegal, but hell, how many things have we seen this president do that's illegal and there's no one there to stop him because the Dems don't have a majority in the House plus the Senate? So, ladies and gentlemen, vote early, stop this madness, strap up, and just be prepared because we need someone that has the back of people in the middle class and below. Because
and be careful.
Finish real quick. Another thing that Trump is doing, and people just don't connect the two, okay? He's not making a funding deal to get money to the people who are middle class and below, and he's trying to get your ass to go and work and get sick. And he already knows that this thing is affecting the minority population. So he's trying to hurt you 2 ways. Number one, he knows you're dying the most. And then number 2, he's not giving you money so that you can stay away from getting corona. He wants you to go back to work. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not conspiracy. That's not conjecture. Those are the facts as of this moment.
Yeah. And be careful, because I just really believe that it's going to be a dangerous place, regardless of how the election turnout is. You know, the only thing that I can think of that may cause it to not be a really violent ending to this election season is if Joe Biden just has an overwhelming victory. If he comes in and he literally wins by 10-12%, then I think we're talking about maybe it's just so undeniable that everybody's like, well, look, there's no need fussing about this. This is what happened, and leave it be. But if there's either not a clear victory or something happens where it's in the margin of error, I just think it's going to be a very, very ugly situation. And all I can say is, people, be careful out there, because it's going to be a lot of craziness. It's going to be a lot of people getting up, angry, going out to protest. People are going to be violent. We've already seen how Trump supporters are. They will bring out guns and kill people. And it's not that people on the left don't also have guns. The problem is that when the people on the right, when you have those white folks out there with their AR-15s and everything else with their guns, if they shoot and kill you, the police are not going to stop them. They're not going to stop them from doing it, and they're not going to arrest them for doing it. I mean, in all reality, you need to protect yourself, because there is no protection for you out there other than what you can provide for yourself and maybe what the community can provide for you, but the police are not going to do it. No.
Now, and having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I have a daughter now, and the biggest issue for me of why along with the racism, so don't think that I'm not saying that's an issue, but a big issue for me is the way the coronavirus has been handled by this bungling ass administration. I want to take my daughter to see Larry. I want to take my daughter to see her family in Detroit. I want to be able to go in the pediatrics with my wife, and I can't do that now because they're only allowing one parent, because the virus is going back up, because so many idiots have taken this thing and gone political instead of trusting the science. Now Trump has found this guy who changed his name to Dr. Atlas, who's a radiologist, not even an epidemiologist or works on infectious disease. He's out there telling people about this herd immunity shit, which is a lie, because a lot of people have been reinfected, ladies and gentlemen. So
yeah,
I
you
need
can't
you
have
guys,
herd immunity when you can get reinfected.
No, so I need you guys to vote his ass out so that we can finally lock this country down. Get Biden to support the people staying at home, lock it down, enforce rules that you must wear a mask if you're out, so that we can get back to doing what we need to do, like all the other countries that have turned the corner from this shit, man. It makes no sense. We are 4% of the world's population, but have 1/4, 25% of all the Rona cases in the world.
Yeah.
In the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, grab a friend, grab someone who can't get out, and go vote. Let's change the direction of this country as quickly as we can.
Yeah, it's terrible when you see what's going on out there. I mean, I was out today. I usually go out and do my curbside pickups. I try my hardest to avoid going into stores, and I try and do my curbside pickups. And so I did. I did a curbside pickup today at Best Buy to buy a hard drive and a case for my phone. And I did a curbside pickup over at BJ's Warehouse to go get some household stuff like toilet paper and lotion and shampoo and stuff like that. And when I was out, what I kept seeing is people not wearing masks. Or when I was waiting at the curbside pickup at Best Buy, they required that you have a mask on when you go inside. And no joke, I saw this couple walk out, and I don't even know when the guy took his mask off, because he had his mask off, by the time I saw him. And the woman had her mask on still for a few moments, and then she took it off and she peeled it off and she did one of these, like she
Oh,
just
my
had, like she
Lord.
just was, like she just couldn't get any oxygen. She was acting like she had just come in from a space vacuum or something, and she was just getting oxygen in or something. She acted like she was that dude on Total Recall before they turned the oxygen on or something. It was crazy. It's like, I was like, people, I have asthma. I can wear a mask all damn day, and it doesn't bother me. Sometimes can it get a little hot?
No,
Sure,
definitely.
but
It
that's
gets
because
hot.
it's hot outside.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but it's not keeping me from breathing. I mean, these people just don't want to wear it. And this is the other thing when I see this and I think to myself, we're not going to get through this anytime soon unless they have a vaccine or something. Because what I keep seeing is people go out there, they don't have their mask on, and then they have to go into a store. So they grab their mask, they pull it out of their pocket, they put it on their face. They go inside the store, they touch everything that they're touching, buying stuff, picking up groceries, going to the Best Buy, picking up computers and headphones and everything else. And then they step outside the store, and the first thing they do is put those hands on their face so that they can remove that mask. I mean, what is the point? You have basically just rubbed your hands all over coronavirus and then touched your face. They have been telling us this from the very beginning.
From the beginning.
When you leave, before you leave your house, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap and water. Put your mask on your face. Cover your nose and your mouth. Leave your mask on your face until you get to wherever you're going, that you can then again wash your hands. So if you're going from your house to your uncle's house or your dad's house or your sister's house, and you get there and you want to take your mask off, wash your hands, take your mask off, put your mask somewhere safe. If you're going shopping, leave your mask on the entire time. And then when you get home, wash your hands again for at least 20 seconds and then remove your mask. It's not that big of a deal. And I don't say this trying to be some mask fascist. I'm saying this because I want people to protect themselves and to be safe. I hope that we can all get through this together and alive,
Man, you don't even have to say that shit about mass fascists. It's what you have to do to try to survive and have optimum quality of life. It's not even about fascism. This is science. Ladies and gentlemen, this is pure science. I'm an asthmatic. I have a respiratory therapy degree because of asthma. And I don't give a damn what somebody say about them lying, talking about the mask impedes them breathing. That's a fucking lie. The only thing a mask would do is impede ventilation. And that impediment is not sufficient enough for anyone who can actually walk. If you can't walk, you would put on oxygen that will go underneath the damn mask and be in your nose. So just stop with the lying there. No, you know.
I have sat, and I think I've told this story before. I used to be a photojournalist, and I worked for the LA Times for a number of years. And I was a photojournalist, and I went in, I was doing a photo essay on a surgical intern in Pasadena at a hospital in Pasadena. And there was a surgery that he was about to go into where it was supposed to be a short 1 hour exploratory surgery of a woman who was having some issues. So he was like, you want to go in, you can shoot. It's going to happen in a couple, maybe a couple hours. We're going to do it. So I said, sure. So I hung around the hospital, and then I went in, scrubbed in with the doctors and the nurses, had my mask on, we disinfected all my camera equipment. And then I was in there shooting. And this 1 hour surgery, no joke, this thing went 12 hours before I finally tapped out. And they had to go even longer because once they got in there, they found the woman's pancreas was basically liquefied. But my point with all this is, during this entire time, I had a mask on. The surgeons had masks on. The surgical nurses had masks on. The anesthesiologist had a mask on. Everybody in that room had masks on. And these were people that had been in there that were actively focused on something. They were standing up for this for hours on end. They were up there doing what is suctioning stuff out and cutting, and they were doing all kinds of stuff for hours. For hours. I did not hear one person say, this damn mask, I can't breathe. No. Not once. The only time I saw any time was when I saw a nurse roll up some gauze, put it on one of those clamps, and then dab the doctor's head so that sweat wasn't dripping inside this woman who was opened up. That was the only time I saw anybody do anything that looked like an attempt to have someone refreshed. Everybody else was just fine. If doctors can wear masks for hours on end, so can you. If fighter pilots up there in those doggone jets can fly patrols for 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 hours and have those masks on their face, so can you.
Yeah, man. And we're going to table this here so we can finish the last segment. If this was just
you, I don't mean you people. I feel like you folks out there are probably wearing your mask.
Yeah, we know y'all good. We're not talking about y'all. We're talking about detractors. So, ladies and gentlemen, if this thing was such a giant hoax that we're trying to make America fascist by having you wear a mask, why are they doing the same thing in all the other free countries in the world?
Yeah, free or non-free. And guess what? They're all getting back to normal. Oh, right. Even in Wuhan, I saw a thing today in the news in Wuhan where this doggone thing started. They are sending kids back to school.
Right. Yeah.
Now, how is it in Wuhan where this thing started? This is China. Everybody talks about America's the greatest country on earth. Well, is it really? Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm asking because if it is, why can't we go ahead and stomp out this pandemic? If it's the greatest thing on earth, why can't we get people to wear a mask and show how great we truly are? If it's the greatest thing, if it's the greatest country on earth, why can't we say, well, we're so great, we can work with the WHO because we're that great. Nothing you could do is going to overshadow us anyway, so we might as well work with you. Why do we have to step away from the WHO when the rest of the world is saying, yeah, we're going to have a vaccine shortly, and we're getting all together to make sure that we can make sure that it's manufactured and distributed in such a way that everybody has access? Why is it that America is saying we're not going to participate in that? If we're the greatest country on earth, why not?
Because that greatness is subjected to a handful of people that think they sit on the top and trickle down what they want to trickle down to the rest of the people in this country. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll finish this on Friday because we've got some more stuff we want to finish off. We want to finish off on a good note. We're helping you guys make that money. If you're finding me and Larry for the first time, please subscribe to his channel, subscribe to mine. Link is in the video description of all my videos. So we've been doing stocks since March, ladies and gentlemen. We've made some people a whole lot of money. And I've been putting up videos showing you guys how you can make anywhere from $100 to $2,000 a week doing options in a very, very low risk manner. And I've also given you some strategies and tips on how you can make money with particular stocks that are doing splits. So ladies and gentlemen, there is another stock that is splitting this month, and I think you should take a look at it because you might can make some money to the run up. Take a look.
Kind of like the next stock split. Now, a lot of you guys probably have missed out on the train for the Apple and Tesla stock splits. Generally speaking, after they announce a stock split, the stock goes up a ton, and this is no difference with Trex. So if you guys missed out on the stock splits for the tech guys, don't worry, Trex is going for a 2-for-1 stock split, meaning one share of Trex at around $150 will be split into two different pieces. Each share will be approximate $75. So you get two shares. That's pretty nice. A 2-for-1 stock split seems pretty chill for me. And so far, Trex, they're doing pretty well. And let me tell you what this company is. But before we get started, definitely check out two links in the description. One of them is a free Discord server with almost 10,000 people. Talk about stocks, options, dividends. It's one of the biggest financial servers on the Discord platform. There's also a Webull sign-up link. Click on it, make a broker account, deposit $100, and get 2 free stocks. It's free money right there, so you're welcome. But anyway, Trex is this rail making company, this wood decking company. Okay, that sounded kind of weird, and it's like a materials company. And it's been doing extremely well. If you check out their earnings, they've always made money, and there's a slow and consistent increase every single quarter. So this is a railing company, you say. So if you check out their official site, this is what they make. So when you make a building like a stadium or a giant apartments complex, you need one thing that no one really talks about. You need railings. You can see these stadiums have railings right there. This staircase has railings. Remember, you can't actually make a building without railings because it's honestly pretty dangerous. And these major commercial buildings, they need these major buildings like Trex is literally everywhere. Like if you're opening a museum, like a mall, if you're doing renovations, an office complex, a multifamily complex, and you need railing, you're going to have to call Trex. This is a super niche market, and this is why they're doing so well, because they're making money. And when you're making money, your stock, generally speaking, goes up. They were founded in 1998, and their market cap is $8.65 billion, super small. Now, obviously, Trex is not going to be like a multi-billion or even $1 trillion company. It's just going to be like really stable, and demand for these rails have been going up, especially how safety standards have been increasing. And guess what? There's more construction products than ever before. If you simply check out the home building stocks, the real estate stocks, they have been doing extremely well. Not only that, Trex also owns all sorts of other companies like this wood company as well, this architectural rail company, and etc. So it is pretty interesting. And if you really just check out their projects, you can clearly see that they do more than just commercial real estate and malls. They also do giant apartment complexes. And they do make these really nice railings, and they're safe and they're good. And a lot of these companies are like, okay, we need to just finish our building up. We got to make sure it's safe. Let's get Trex to do the railing real quick. They come over, they do the measurements, and they charge a pretty high price for these rails as well. So yeah, what I'm saying here is with record low interest rates and with so many people looking for the next big stock split, I feel like construction will be increasing. And when that increases, the Trex stock goes up. And right now, Trex stock is announcing a 2-for-1 stock split, which is extremely bullish. So should you guys buy the stock? Absolutely. I feel like this is a pretty good stock, especially when you have a real estate portfolio. Even if you don't and you just like the idea of a stock split of a pretty decent company, like you might not really like the railing system and the railing company, but you could really like the spreadsheet. Like they are making a lot of money simply from like rails. It sounds kind of funny, but they really are. It's a really niche market that no one is really into. So if you guys want to get a stock split, I mean, they're announcing a 2-for-1 stock split, and it's going to happen on September 14th. So definitely take advantage of it.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, not only do I like that stock for the split, I like that stock as a great 5 to 10 year hold too, because I went and done some homework beyond what you just saw. I checked their books, I checked their debt ratios, and I checked the history of the stock. And it's been growing over the last 5 years. And also in their niche, there's only 4 companies and they dominate 60% of the marketplace. And they are always on the cutting edge of innovation in the rail market. And they've got so many contracts with these apartment complexes that you guys probably see popping up in your communities. It's a winner. So if you're looking for something that can get you some quick short-term money and also have long-term growth, give them a try. What you think, Larry?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. It could be. I'll be honest with you. I don't know much about the company, so, it's hard to call it on that, but it looks like it could be decent. It looks like it could be decent. Now, when I was looking them up earlier, their numbers on here look like they're solid. When I look at like their 5 year, their charts for their 5 year and 1 year, they seem like they're just going up and up and up. The only time they had a dip, it looked like in 2019, and another one like in March, like everybody did. But other than that, it seemed like, they just been steadily going up, a little dip, and then they've been going up again. So,
and they've got great financials. Like I said, they're on the cutting edge of innovation in their industry, and they eat up so much of their sector. I like them. I like them for at least 10 years, and I like them for a short-term play. Someone's trying to get a small bit of a cash grab. But Larry, I already done got a Tesla question.
Okay.
So my man Howard McQuarters in the building asked, what happened to Tesla today? It's simple, Howard. People start pulling their money from Tesla today, but have no fear, my brother. Have no fear. Have I let you down with Tesla so far? This is expected. They're getting ready to have Battery Day coming up real soon, and they've got some big news to announce. Expect a run up then. And one thing that I want you guys to do also when you're doing your investing has a lot to do with risk tolerance. So when you see a stock has already got you in the profit zone, set an amount of money you want as your maximum profit, and then just trim some of the stock off and take your profit. I have a set number I'm looking for with Tesla, and it's gotten to that number already. Now it took a little dip back, but once it hits that number again, I'm going to trim some of my Tesla and keep some of it. But that's how you invest properly, so that you maintain the gains and not suffer severe losses.
Yeah, I have to say I'm upside down on Tesla right now because I bought in at 452 and after hours trading, they're at like, I think they're at 330 something. So I said I was gonna hold on and wait until battery day. And so that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, they're at 337 right now. So I'm gonna hold on and wait till battery day. And if it makes a big move on battery day or running up to that, whatever, I'll probably sell some and take some profit. We'll see what it does. If it hasn't made a good move, or if it has dropped enough that when it does make a good move towards battery day, and all of a sudden now I'm back to where I started at, or barely over it, or barely under it, I think I'm gonna go ahead and dump my position on there. But if it's jumped and it's going way up again, then I'll probably just trim it and keep some of it. But if it doesn't put me into a good place by battery day, I'm going to be out and at least try and recoup my investment. So we'll see what happens. I hope I don't lose money on it because it's an expensive stock. So
I want to tell people two things. Number one, whenever you buy a stock, always be thinking about what's your goal for the stock. For me, I'm always looking at a stock for two reasons. Can it make me long-term money, but can it also make me short-term money? Tesla is a stock, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm telling you, you want to have in your portfolio definitely for the long term. Even though Tesla is supposedly a car company, they're masquerading as a car company. They're really a technology company, and they're in front of so many different things. So even if it takes a little bit of a dip, don't sweat it. It's going to keep growing. As a matter of fact, I'll even tell you when it dips, buy some more. That's a stock you can believe
normally,
in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Normally, yes. And see, here's the thing. As you talked about people having a certain risk tolerance. I have a decent risk tolerance, but I had only really wanted to buy like 5 shares of Tesla because of their price. And I went ahead and bought 10 because I was thinking, okay, well, if it does have a good run up, then I'll just sell those 5 and take the profit from them, and I'll just keep the 5 that I was originally going to buy for my long-term investment. So, but now I'm upside down on that Tesla stock, so now I'm having to wait a bit and see what it's going to do. And as it is right now, on battery day or shortly thereafter, the moment that I can get out of this stock at break-even point for me, I'm getting out at least half my position, because I'm okay with holding some of it for the long term, but I'm getting out at least half my position on there. So we'll see what happens with it. So
and ladies and gentlemen, I'm thinking about either once it gets to my number, either getting out, or I might be putting my shares up for a call action, an option strategy where I'm basically selling 100 shares of my stock, making premium week to week, and then upcharging if somebody wants to buy it. And while I'm waiting for someone to buy it, I've made a premium for that week, and I set my price so high that unless the market just takes a complete quick run, which is liable to happen with Tesla, no one will usually buy it, and I can just keep doing the same thing week to week. And if they do buy it, they're buying it at such a premium. Not only do I get the upfront premium, but then I get the cover marked above what I paid for it. So can't go wrong once you start getting into these stocks, people. You can make yourself some good money. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. It's time for my shift.
There's one stock before we get out of here. There's one stock that I wanted you to take a look at right quick. It's called Top Glove. It's the ticker is TGLVY. And it's called Top Glove Corporation. It's out of Malaysia, and they make rubber gloves for the medical field and all kind, whatever else, I guess. But so I lost their thing. Where did it go? So if you look at it, it says Top Glove Corporation is a Malaysian-based company that engages in investment holding and providing management services. The company is also a rubber glove manufacturer. and it operates through 5 segments through Malaysia, Thailand, Republic of China, and British Virgin Islands. Blah blah blah. Anyways, they make latex, nitrile, and vinyl gloves. So, but I'm looking at them. I like them. And since you're up on splits, they're gonna have a 3-to-1 stock split later this month.
Well, damn, it's not on Robinhood. Damn, I'm gonna have to go to my backup my backup broker. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the other thing that's important too. Make sure you have 2 brokerages. A lot of these new ones, Webull and Robinhood, there are certain stocks from foreign places that you usually can't get your hands on. That if you have a traditional brokerage as a backup, you'll be able to get involved with those as well.
Yeah. Some of the ones like Webull and Robinhood, like you said, they have a limited number of asset classes you can access. And if you have a traditional broker like Charles Schwab or TD or Fidelity or whatever, you'll end up being able to access all of them. Yeah. All the asset classes.
Yep. So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, we enjoy you guys night to night. You're the reason we come up here and do this 3 times a week. Be sure to share us with friends. And always come back to this channel because I do break up these into different segments in case you want to watch one specific thing and not have to siphon through a whole hour. Be sure to like this video, comment, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Larry's channel. And until Friday night, ladies and gentlemen, that next Sexy as Hell video. We'll see you.
Peace.